Hello everyone, my name is Thryss. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning Stitchy, I just saw that I dyed myself. Anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. So first of all, happy Juneteenth. I want you guys to grab a project. I don't know, go do dishes, like set me down while you work or something. We're just gonna sit and chat. Where am I looking for? Here it is. Okay, so today is, well, when you're seeing this, it's not this for me, but when you're seeing this, it is June 19th, which is Juneteenth. If you don't know what Juneteenth is, it is a holiday celebrating the abolishment of slavery. And I believe it was in 1865, if I'm not mistaken. What's really sad is this did not become a federally recognized holiday until 2 years ago. Over a century and a half later. Kind of blows my mind a little bit, and a lot of it. And for the most part, I have found, unless you are a person of color or have, married into or are from a community where people of color are more prevalent, a lot of people don't even know about this holiday. And so I want to do what teeny little part I can to try to change that. So I have a story time. I don't know, maybe some anecdotes, some just food for thought, things like that for this video, and a giveaway. So I hope you listen to the whole thing. I have no plan. I'm just gonna crochet and chat with you guys. You guys will see the progression of something I'm working on. I dyed up some, this is what it's looking like. This is a back panel. I got some bulky weight yarn from that video quite a few months back. I think it was the end of last year. I'm not sure where my bag of it went. I'm so discombobulated. Oh, here it is. Wait, one thing that was in this bag, or in that box of Premier yarn that somebody sent me, and I still don't know who, was a bunch of gray Rossetti Cinema, I think is what it was called. It was a bulky 5 superwash nylon cashmere, goat cashmere. And I don't normally work with bulky weight yarns. I'm not a fan. I really kind of don't like to go higher than DK weight. But I don't know, I really liked, I didn't think I was going to keep the yarn, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm like, well, this is a good dyeing candidate. So I made up a sock blank. Oh. Excuse the cat fur. Or dog, I'm not sure what it is. I made up a bunch of sock blanks in my Addy and broke my Addy doing it. And I dyed them the other day. Anyway, so I'm working them up, and I don't know, I think it was really pretty. I really enjoyed the way that it worked up, and so I'm actually working with it. I can't believe it. This will be officially, I believe, the first time yeah, I think this is officially the first time I've ever worked up my yarn to keep for myself. Anyway, okay, so Juneteenth. I think that this is a good opportunity. Well, I think this holiday should be celebrated by, or at least recognized by everybody. This is something that should be more prevalent in homes, because if we don't remember the mistakes we made in the past, we're doomed to repeat them. And this is a great opportunity to open up discussion with your kids, with, maybe your elder members of your family who are not so open-minded or something like that, I'm so glad it became a federally recognized holiday. I'm disgusted that it took so long, but because we have a responsibility, just as humans in general, but speaking as a Caucasian woman, we especially have a responsibility to be an ally, to do our part in bettering this world and creating true equality. So if you're a parent or a grandparent, raising your grandkids or whatever, like something I did is I taught my kids from early on about discrimination, that some of their friends was going to face discrimination simply based off the color of their skin, and that as Caucasian people, they have an opportunity and a responsibility to do their part in making this not a thing anymore. Of how they can properly defend their friends. And yeah, sorry, I'm super tired. My thoughts are not, I apologize if things are not super cohesive. I did not come in to this video with a plan. So like, I don't know. And okay. Yeah, I like that. I think it looks really cool. These white spots in it are where the blank being in blank form, when it got dyed, it acted like a resist, so dye didn't get in there. So I think it makes a really cool effect. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Yeah, so, so that's something that I've taught them early on. And I encourage you, there is a conversation that people of color unfortunately have to have with their kids. And it's sad. And I want to see a world where parents don't have to explain to their kids anymore why this person treated them differently when they didn't do anything wrong, and they're confused and they don't understand, and their parents have to explain to them it's because of the color of their skin. Well, there is a conversation that Caucasian parents can be having with their kids as well, so that these things don't continue to happen, and so that they can be allies for when it does, until we get to a world where there's not this division anymore. Not trying to tell anybody how to raise their kids or anything like that. I'm just speaking from my own experiences, what I've seen in the world and everything like that. So, okay. I grew up spending a lot of my time in I guess it was kind of like a group home. It was a government-run facility. I don't really know how else to explain it. As a ward of the state. And I grew up alongside all different kinds of people from all different ethnicities, all different religions, and I am truly grateful for that part, because had I not been there and had I stayed with my family where they were, I would not have been exposed to that. And I learned a lot, and I'm grateful for those lessons. So we had state workers that took care of us, and we lived in dormitories, and we called them our dorm mothers, because that's who was raising us. And so I got to be raised by all different kinds of lovely women. And one of my favorite dorm mothers, her name was Miss White. And she was African American. And I grew up being steeped in a history and a culture that wasn't my own, but I learned it right alongside the kids that it was. And I'm glad for that. There's a lot more to it, but I'll probably cry because this was a really great part of my life. And anyway, I miss it. I miss the people and that I grew up with and stuff. So, but basically, what I wanted that to lead to is, sorry, I'm not a great speaker. And I'm very tired. And I drank a whole thing of matcha super fast, so now I'm tired, but my brain is like, what is this video? So I'm gonna tell you guys. So I'm albino. We know this. Well, albinism is more prominent in African American ethnicity and Caucasian too, but not as much. Well, when people think albino, that's usually what they think of. My type of albinism is not nearly as common. Ocular albinism, I think is what it's called. Anyway. And I grew up being around African American and Caucasian albinos. And there's different kinds of albinism. So when I tell you this next part, so when I left that place, and because this was like a facility that I stayed in, I didn't leave, I didn't go out in the public. So when I left that place and I actually started going out into the public and everything like that and was on my own, I kept finding that I was treated really, really differently. And part of it was just because of albinism and, ableism and stuff like that. But something became immediately came to my attention immediately. And that was, a lot of people thought that I was an African American albino. And it's not ridiculous. And I say this because that is typically the reaction that I get when, not that I've talked about this a lot, but the few times that I have, that's kind of the reaction I get is, really? I don't see that. I don't understand that. That's ridiculous, whatever. Because I don't quote unquote look African American, whatever that is supposed to mean. So it's not ridiculous. I grew up with African American albinos that looked exactly like me. You wouldn't be able to tell us apart. I mean, obviously we have different features, like I would have different features from anybody else, but now there are African American albinos that have, the caramel hair and the beautiful caramel skin, but there are African American albinos who are white haired and very pale skin like me, like if their parents were mixed or something like that. So in a lot of, I'm not gonna say where from because I don't want to further a stereotype about a particular region, but it was predominantly there. And most people were not educated on albinism. That's still a problem today, though it's getting better. People thought that was the thought, is that if you were albino, you were African American. And so I would always hear a particular slang word thrown my way, and indicating that they thought I was African American. And I'm like, I'm not. So what if I was? I'd be more than happy to be, but I'm not. And most of the time, people would believe me and stop. But I dealt with a lot of racism, a lot of bullying and racism because people thought I was African American. And I could take that off though. Because the second they understood that I was Caucasian, it ended. African American people don't have that same ability. They don't have that same, So I have a unique perspective. One, being raised by who I was raised by. But two, I dealt with racism firsthand. And I'm shocked at how nasty and mean and awful people can be simply based off skin color. It's shocking. So this holiday is important and should be important to everybody. Slavery ended here, but it hasn't ended everywhere. And racism hasn't ended at all. And it needs to. So I encourage you to have those conversations. I encourage you to do some research on reading about Black history, reading about Black culture, because the only way that we really truly can be one is if we try to understand where the other person is coming from. The whole walk a mile in their shoes. Well, most of you can't walk a mile in someone else's shoes when it comes to racism, because you can't change that part of you. But I was blessed to be able to walk a mile in someone else's shoes, sort of. It is by no means my puppy is is sleeping. She's yipping and growling in her sleep. I am by no means comparing my experience to that of a person of color. But I have an inkling. I have a small insight into what they deal with on the daily. And so I was blessed enough to sort of walk a mile in their shoes. And I do feel like it's a blessing because it gave me an understanding I never would have had otherwise. So the only way this ends is to talk about it, is to really truly try to understand one another. And if you don't understand where someone has been and what they're going through, you can't possibly understand them on the level that you need to be truly compassionate and for things to truly change. I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. So look up stuff. Just go get a book, get on the internet and research their history. It's really important, and have those conversations with your kids, your grandkids, your cousins, whatever, of what people of color face and what role your kids can take in being an ally. And observe this holiday. Because it's really important. It's really important. I'm not a great speaker. I'm just speaking off cuff while crocheting, which I'm shocked I'm able to talk and crochet at the same time. And so if any of it didn't make sense or I rambled, I do apologize. I wish that I could have done what I wanted to do justice. I know that I didn't. I feel like I didn't do very well. But I don't know. This is important to this should be important to everybody. This should not be ever a situation where I hear, what is Juneteenth? It shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't have to have this as a holiday, period. Because slavery never should have happened, but it did. So yeah, do the research, have those conversations, put yourself in people's shoes in your mind as much as you can. Like, I'll go to the store and I'll think about, like, last year there was a fight between two women at the grocery store, and I've seen this exact scenario play out with people of color, and the result be entirely different. And I just thought, oh my gosh, my privilege. If I were a person of color, I would not have been able to, like, I would have at least been afraid of, without going in, and maybe I shouldn't have brought that up as an example without going into the whole scenario, which I really don't want to, but, like, just think about those things. Think about those things that, like, what your privilege allows you to do and say, and what your privilege protects you from. The fears it protects you from, the thoughts it protects you from, the fact that, I don't know. I don't want to ramble on and muddle my point, and I don't know. So happy Juneteenth. And I am doing a giveaway to celebrate this very important holiday. This is the other Afghan kit that I talked to you guys about. I'm going to show you what my, I don't remember if this is a pattern. If it is, I'll give you the pattern. But this is what this is not the colors I have. But I bought colors with the idea of doing an Afghan or Latgan or whatever like that. And what I have is a bunch of Hometown USA, which is a super bulky 6, 100% acrylic, 5 ounces, 142 grams, 81 yards each. I don't know the exact ball count, but I have enough to do that. I'm pretty sure there was a pattern because I bought enough to do that. Maybe, I don't know. Basically, it's half double crochets, and you just change the color like this. Is all it is. So you can make it big, small, however you wanted to. You don't have to go by it. But these are the colors that I have. I have Tampa Spice, which is a pretty red color. I have Billings Chocolate, which is a nice chocolate brown color. Houston Cream, which is a cream. Portsmouth Pumpkin, which is pumpkin. And then I have the Madison Mustard, which is a mustard, shockingly enough. Anyway, I have quite a few of each of these, enough to make a blanket. Very fall colors, because I think I bought this in fall to do. And so I'm gonna let that go for like a week, or however long it takes me to remember to pull the winner. I really, really, really hope that that made sense, that I didn't just bumble through the whole thing. Guys, I'm like out of my head tired. Like genuine, you know how when you're so tired you feel like off? I'm like that. And realistically, I probably should have waited until tomorrow to make this video, but I don't know. We're all friends here. We're family. I just kind of talked off cuff the way that I would talk to you if you were sitting right here. I hope it all made sense. I hope I got the message through in a respectful, good way. I by no means did it justice. I know that, but I hope I didn't somehow offend anybody. But yeah. So, if you want to be entered in, just, I don't know, make it clear you want to be entered. I'm not going to do a word. Just indicate in some way that, you know, you would be interested in winning the giveaway. So, and if you're not interested and you're just leaving a comment for support, indicate that as well in your comment. And I will be monitoring the comments very closely on this video, because I won't tolerate hate. I won't tolerate racism. Now, I know none of my family, none of my friends are going to be saying these things, but this is going on a public forum, and more than just you guys have access to this video. So I will be erasing anything that comes across that shouldn't be, because I don't abide it at all. Alright guys, I love you, and I hope you have a good one. So stay safe, stay weird, don't make permanent decisions off temporary feelings, and remember that your words have power. When you give your words to somebody, you do not have control over the effect that it has on that person. So don't speak out of anger. Don't speak out of high emotion. Be thoughtful. Be purposeful with the words that you say. And I don't know. I just want better for this world. And I'm not big here on YouTube by any means, but I'm hoping that I can have a big impact. Something. If I can have it, if I can just impact even one person, to make one person become introspective and see if there's things that they could improve regarding this particular topic, then it will make this worth it. I know a lot of people have never thought about having a conversation with their kids about the parts that they can play. And so I hope that gives at least somebody the idea to maybe start doing that. Alright, I don't want to be on a soapbox or anything like that, so I love you guys. I hope this video comes out okay. I'm nervous about it, just because I don't know that I did it justice, and it's such a sensitive topic. The idea I had for this video was to have, to highly edit it and have lots of links and lots of things to put up on the screen and, things like that. Find excerpts from speeches that people have made that say things a lot more eloquently than I was able to. But I don't have access to my computer right now, and I just haven't had the time, and I didn't want to let the holiday pass without at least doing something to observe it. So next year I'll do better, but I hope this was okay. So I'm going to stop blathering on. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys later.